for instance, or it was practiced by the colonialists in Africa and other countries. They know only, the common thing between the two is only the word slave. Otherwise, what they permit today, Islamic slavery was a better system of service than the normal system of becoming a servant to somebody or a laborer in some factory. The rights of laborer of today are less than the rights of slaves in the time of Hadhrat Sallallahu and the following times. And this is why even today, while Islam is in a very poor state to be found in many Muslim countries of the Middle East, yet they are much, much more kinder to their servants today than the Western people who think they are liberated and who are modern and more civilized are to their servants and their employees today. If you go to a millionaire's house in Saudi Arabia, for instance, his chauffeur will be found sitting in the on the sofa in the main drawing room, and he will be discussing things with the family members like he is one of them, and nobody would be able to recognize him as a chauffeur. Only when he is told, and gently so, to drop you at some place, then you will realize that he was a chauffeur and not a member of the family. And the children respect him, and he is treated alike, and he eats from the same table. So despite the fact that so much damage has been done to Islamic values in the modern world of Islam, yet at least this much remains intact. The system the civil attitude towards slaves, which they inherited from Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, remains to a degree intact. And if you want to make a comparison with the modern system of servants and maid servants with what you find in the Muslim world of today, you'll be surprised. Now, they have no right to keep slaves, I agree, because Islam does not permit you any right to buy slaves after once it was done away with. Yet, as they keep slaves, this is what I am pointing out, at least they stick to the older values of civil attitude and kind attitude towards your slaves, which they inherited from early Islam. So this was the most wonderful solution which Islam proposed and enacted for the removal of slavery, and no better system can be imagined even today. Do it with one stroke of the pen as suggested, and see what happens to the economy, to those slaves themselves. They would be left high and dry either to beg or to steal or to rob. They would have nothing for themselves, because the slavery, as I have told you, was also a means of livelihood for the slaves themselves. You do away with the slavery and leave them to shift for themselves, and you can imagine what might have happened to the economy of that people and those times, and also the social problems might have been created. I mean, this requires a longish treatment, but the time is short, so I think it should suffice for the time being. After you, I should like Dr. Sahib, you were the first, in fact, please. Because Yusuf Sahib comes from Pakistan, so I have made it general practice to give them preference for a while. So this is why I made him number one and made you number two. But the second man was from England, so there was no need to prefer him to you.
Quite all right.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Right.
During the last annual convention held here, you expressed wish that members of the community should visit our new missions.
Yes.
And observe.
Which you did, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I took my wife and children and visited 7 missions.
7, mashallah.
Yes, sir.
Did well.
2 older ones and 5 new ones.
Yes.
And I wanted to share my happiness and joy after seeing the great blessings which Allah has showered. In Brussels, new mission in Brussels,
Yes.
just in the outskirts.
Yes.
And then we went to,
You started your journey from Brussels. That was the first leg.
yes sir,
Yes.
and then we went to The Hague,
Yes.
which is an old mission.
Of course, yes.
And after that, Nunspeet.
Munspet.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That was the mission where it is, of course, great big buildings and
Yes.
great accommodation.
Quite.
And while we were there were another 3 families, together. They came and it was plenty of space to accommodate
Quite.
everybody.
Yes.
And,
And the area is so beautiful and peaceful, you know.
It's quite peaceful. Yes,
It's a very
sir.
peaceful area.
It's really nice to visit and see and stay there. So we visited there as well. And
Did you also see the small diminutive monkeys?
no, sir, we were told that because we had quite a few things on our mind to go and visit quite a few places, and
That is also a place worthy of visit, you know.
yes, sir.
Because the monkeys there are unique. That was the first time I saw such monkeys in the world. Previously I had seen so many zoos, but never came across a monkey, full-grown monkey of this size, you know.
That's right.
4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches. And it was a complete full monkey with very bright brain and very active habits and very docile too. Much more dependable friend than other monkeys are. You know, it would jump over your shoulders and sit and never would bite you or harm you in any way. Very friendly thing.
Yes, sir.
And it's a very interesting thing to see a full-grown monkey of that size. And they swarm you, the place, in thousands and thousands. When I was showing my children those monkeys, you know, they would, if you extend your hand like this, spread it out, they would think that you are offering them some food. So immediately come and sit over your arms and shoulders. So one of my daughters was so afraid of monkeys that she was keeping her hand close tight to her body, lest the monkey should get the impression that she wants to offer. And while she was doing it, a monkey was sitting right over her shoulder. You know, seeing what was happening, you know. So you missed that anyway.
That's right, sir.
Yes.
And then we went to Germany. There were 4 missions there. Of course, we went there to Frankfurt, which is an old one.
And also the Nasbah.
We went to Cologne first, sir.
I see.
And
Cologne, yes.
that's right, sir. And it's a huge, of course,
Yes, it's a
place.
beautiful,
And,
huge building, and also the situation is so good.
quite, yes, sir.
Right in the middle of the town, in the best
Quite
area.
right, sir. Yes, sir. And there also I learned that it's not only a gift from God, very cheaply bought, but also the sustenance or maintenance is also provided there.
That is also a gift from God.
That's right. It's just like somebody giving,
Don't differentiate between this and that as one being gift and the other being just
not at
our
all.
own effort.
It's just like somebody giving me a motor car as a gift and also saying, all right, I'll provide you with
Maintenance, yes, that's right.
So,
That is what has been done in Nunspeet as well.
as well.
Nunspeet.
Right. Yes, sir.
Both the buildings were spacious enough
Yes, sir.
for us to rent out a portion thereof.
Yes, sir.
And if we had not done that, the maintenance cost would be so high, it would be very difficult. In fact, it would become a white elephant.
Quite right.
So already God had so ordained that a portion which we did not require was rented out already at a rate and that which could look after the maintenance of the rest of the building.
That's
Rest
right.
of the building.
Yes, sir.
So we are maintaining them free of cost.
Yes, sir. That's right. And also I forgot to mention there, sir, the sweet fruit which we had at Belgium, in Brussels.
Yes,
Very sweet and delicious plums,
yes, that's right.
and of 2 or 3 varieties there.
That's quite right.
And
So
we did some makar amal and ate as well.
that's right. The caramel for your own belly.